So what are 5 things that will destroy your trading? I'll tell you right now. G'day guys, the Aussie Share Trader is here, thankfully. I'm going to give you the 5 things that I think that I've learned over the years, things that I used to do personally that used to cost me a lot of money, and now I do differently. It's changed my profit and loss, my P&L dramatically. So I'm going to give you, there's 4 things and one extra, a little story that I'm going to tell you at the end. So the first thing, okay, so this is what I used to do. So I'm going to use the word I, and you can relate it back to you if you do these things. So the first thing that I used to do wrong, I used to buy the story and not the numbers. Now this is really important because every stock, almost every stock on the Australian Stock Exchange has a story. And they're all trying to put forward their best story, especially the new ones that are trying to get a foothold and get some shareholder trust and some momentum in the share price. They're putting forward their story. And you read all the stories and they all sound pretty damn good. But when you look further into the numbers of these companies, a lot of them don't make any sense. But too often, and I used to do it all the time, I would believe the story and not look at the numbers. And that cost me a lot of money. So I get a lot of questions now about shares, and I look at them for people, and the stories sound great. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. It's a whole new industry that hasn't been invented yet, and they're going to take it all over the world. But they've got nothing. It's just a story, just an idea basically. They've come to market with an idea and they've raised 5, 10, 20 million dollars, whatever the figure is. And the problem with a lot of these ideas is they go nowhere, and the 5 or 10 or 20 million dollars is just burnt on the corporates, on the executives, and they disappear and all the shareholders' money is gone. So be really careful with these stories, and there are great stories that have gone on, of course there are, but in my opinion now, you wait until the story starts to develop and starts to turn into revenue and starts to turn into earnings and profits, and then you invest. So you take a lot of that initial risk out of it, wait till the company starts to do something. Even if you pay a lot more for the share, you're better off, okay? So really be careful what stories you listen to. Okay, now number 2, now this is just maybe my favorite, maybe it should have been number 1. I used to focus on the risk management and not the stock picking. There's so many experts out there that tell you it's all about risk management. It doesn't matter what you buy, as long as you manage it well, you'll make money. And I'm here to tell you that is utter bullshit. Utter bullshit. If you buy shit, it doesn't matter how good a risk manager you are, you will not make money. In fact, it's the other way around. If you become a brilliant stock picker, if you buy companies that are on the way up, you don't really need risk management. It becomes almost a non-issue. So focus more on becoming a brilliant stock picker and less on the risk management once you're in. I've got a brother who flips real estate for a living, and he told me something years ago that I come home and I thought about what he said. He said, the profit is made when you buy, not when you sell. And I thought about that, and now I put that into my trading, because I look at the way he does things, and he doesn't just rush in and buy a house so he can renovate it and sell it for a profit. All the work is done before he buys that house, the work he puts into the suburb that he's going to buy. And the suburb to us as traders might be like the sector. So we like that sector as he liked that suburb. And then he finds, houses within that suburb that he wants to buy. And we've got an advantage. We can buy any stock we want whenever we want to. Now he can't do that. He's got to wait for houses to come on the market. He knocks on doors. He does all that. He knows all the agents and lets them know what he's looking for. So, but he puts all that work in so that when he buys it, when he signs on the dotted that's now his, he knows he's made his money because he'll do his renovation, he'll put it on the market. That just takes care of itself. And trading should be like that. All of the work goes in up front. The work is done, 80% of it is already done. You buy the share and then you work out when you're going to sell it, but that's the easy part. I did make a video, video 24, if you want to go look back at my series, they're all numbered, about when I sell stocks. Very simple method. So maybe that will help you, but really, if you want to be successful, you've got to be a brilliant stock picker, not a brilliant risk manager. Okay, so number 3, I looked for the easiest path. Now, this really is a trap when you're starting out. I didn't want to do the hard work. I didn't want to learn how to fundamentally analyze a company because it looked too hard. I didn't know what a profit and loss was. I didn't know what a balance sheet was or a cash flow statement. So what I did when I started, it was all about charting, because charting was easy. Anyone can look at a chart, stick a few moving averages on there, a few oscillators, whatever you want to use, and you're away. But to me, that's the wrong way to go. It's the easy path, and it's the path of least resistance. You've got to actually put some work in and really understand what you're buying. So this goes back to the first point. You've really got to know the numbers, because if you do get into trouble with a trade, you can go back and look, not at the chart, but look at the numbers. Is the market getting this wrong, or did I get it wrong? Did I make a fundamental mistake, or has the company fundamentally changed? And you can make a rational decision, not an irrational decision based on what the market's doing on any given day. Really put in the homework. I'm not saying you have to work 40, 50 hours a week on your trading, but you do have to put in 10 to 15 hours per week when you're doing your trading, after some initial work where you may put in 20 or 30 hours per week. So it's not difficult trading, but it does take some work, and once you put in that foundation, it does get a lot easier. And the fourth reason why people aren't successful with trading is because they have a poor relationship with money. Now, I've done a whole other vid on this. It was video number 14 in the series. If you want to go back and have a look, I will put a link in the description. But it is really important, and this is something that I've changed dramatically, my approach to money and my thinking about money, a respect for money, but an indifference for money. Now, there's a video on the internet, Anton Kreil, who speaks, I think it's called the 10 tips for success or something like that. I will put a link in the description as well. He talks about this very issue. I think it's his very first point that he makes, and it's definitely worth listening to. He says it quite succinctly about the relationship that you need to have with money, and why as a society we even have money and we still don't use the barter system. So it's important. Watch my video 14. I try and make the point there, but also watch Anton's whole video goes for about 2 hours. But if you've got 2 hours to spare, I think it's a fantastic video. He gives his 10 points for success. I agree with about 9.5 of them. Really work on your relationship with money, because at the end of it, if you don't have a good relationship with money, it can make you irrational and you lose patience, which is another thing that's, you really need a lot of patience when you're buying stocks. And that's not when you're selling, when you're in the trade, that's before you get in the trade. You've got to be patient. Now the fifth one, okay, I'm going to tell you a little story that happened to me on the weekend. You might notice I have a little scar above my head and a bit of a bump there. So I've been away on holidays in Singapore. For the people that watched my last video and guessed it right, I will give a shout out to you guys in a future video. Anyway, I was in Singapore. We come back on Saturday, plane come down into Perth, and I was getting off the plane, and I just felt a little bit not right. But I didn't think too much of it. I had a pretty big night on the Friday night, so I thought I had a bit of a hangover. Anyway, we get home, it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought, I'm feeling really achy. My joints were really achy and I felt really weak, just didn't have a lot of strength. So I went to bed on Saturday night. About 4:30 on Sunday morning, I got up, the cat was scratching at the door. So I got up and let him in. And I was walking back to the bed and I felt actually really woozy, like I was going to lose consciousness. So anyway, I woke my wife up and so I think I need to go to the hospital. Anyway, so she's getting up and I decided to jump in the shower and have a quick shower before we go. So I'm in the shower and I'm getting foggier and foggier, I guess you'll describe it. I didn't know what was going on. And last thing I remember is I turned the shower off. And what happened then, my wife told me, I got out of the shower, I went to grab a towel off the hook, and as I was doing that, I completely blacked out. Went down onto my knees, got sore knees, fell forward, banged into the corner of the wall, then fell backwards, cracked my head on the tiles because I was in the bathroom. I was unconscious for maybe 10-15 seconds, my wife said, and she said I was rigid and my eyes were open but dilated, like I was having some sort of epileptic fit or something like that. So anyway, she was shaking me, obviously a bit panicky, and I woke up and got up and she took me straight to the hospital. And they did a lot of tests on me, blood tests, heart, and I was diagnosed with severe dehydration, thankfully, because I didn't know what it was. I thought, well, dehydration, of all the things it could have been, was probably the best. So just a warning to you, I had a scary couple of hours there where I thought I could have been dying. I didn't know if it was a brain hemorrhage, I didn't know what it was. You don't just black out for no reason. So what this all comes down to is just look the hell after yourself. Make sure you treat your body right, because none of this matters if you're not alive, if you're dead. And I can recover from dehydration, but I could have fell backwards and cracked my head and died that way. So there was a lot of things that could have gone wrong that didn't, fortunately. So lots of water. I'm going to tell you now to drink lots of water. I'm on 4 of these a day. These are 600 mils, so that's 2.4 litres per day at least. Doctor told me it would take 2 to 3 weeks just to rehydrate my body properly, so I would get back full strength. But this is something you really do have to take seriously, is your health. And I had just a little warning on the weekend that I'm not here forever. So just put things in perspective. Everything's got to be put into perspective, you're trading. But there's nothing more important than your own health. So do look after yourself. Okay guys, that is it for this video. I hope you got something out of it. Just one thing, my Snapchat, I think I've messed up. I had a lot of people join my Snapchat in the last week or so, but I think I've accidentally deleted quite a number of people who joined before that. So if you did join my Snapchat and you're no longer following me, just do it again. I apologise. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I was playing around with it the other day, yesterday, and I think now that there's quite a few people gone, so just rejoin Snapchat. Anyway, trade well. We'll talk again soon.